Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we uncover what is really going on behind those fancy corporate reports. Today, we're diving into a filing that might just make a company's stock go from soaring to sinking faster than a stone. So, what is the big news? It looks like Kaival Brands Innovations Group Incorporated is having a bit of a chat with NASDAQ, the stock market, and this chat isn't exactly about congratulations. NASDAQ sent them a letter, and it is not exactly glowing. They're basically saying that, hey, we think you might be a public shell, and that is usually not good news for staying listed on the stock market. Let's break down what that actually means. When NASDAQ calls a company a public shell, it means they think the company doesn't really have much going on in terms of actual operations or generating money. Think of it like a company that is mostly just a name and some stock trading without a real business behind it. NASDAQ is pointing to a few reasons for this concern. They've looked at the company's public information and what they've submitted, and they're seeing a lack of assets that actually make money. They're also noticing that the company has significantly cut down on its employees and how much it is doing business, especially since the end of October 2023. That is a pretty big red flag for any stock exchange. And here is a really interesting number. NASDAQ found that a whopping 87.7% of Kaival Brands' assets are just patents and technology that don't have clear plans for making money yet. Imagine owning a bunch of blueprints for amazing inventions, but not knowing if or when you'll ever build them. That is kind of what NASDAQ is seeing here. And the money situation. It looks like revenue has taken a nosedive for the 9 months ending in July of 2025. They brought in less than $400,000. Now compare that to the same period in 2024 when they made $6.1 million. That is a massive drop. It is like going from selling thousands of products to selling just a handful. This huge difference definitely raises eyebrows about the company's current business health. Now, NASDAQ isn't just pulling the plug immediately. They've told Kaival Brands that they have a chance to fight this. They can ask for an appeal, which means a hearing where they can try to convince a panel that they shouldn't be delisted. If they don't appeal, then their stock could be removed from the NASDAQ exchange. And Kaival Brands is definitely planning to fight back. They say they believe they are an operating company and don't agree with NASDAQ's assessment. So, they are going to appeal this decision. When a company appeals, it usually pauses any delisting actions while they wait for the hearing. However, and this is a big however, there is no guarantee they will win their appeal. Even if they do win, it doesn't automatically mean they'll be able to meet all the NASDAQ rules in the future. It is a tough spot to be in, and the future of their stock being on NASDAQ is uncertain. This report is signed by Mark Thanes, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Kaival Brands Innovations Group Incorporated. This means he is the top boss, and this filing represents the official word from the company's leadership. So, what is our take on all this? Kaival Brands is in a precarious position. The huge drop in revenue and the high percentage of assets that aren't generating income are serious warning signs. NASDAQ's concern about them being a public shell isn't coming out of nowhere. It is based on a significant decline in their business activity and financial performance. While they plan to appeal, the odds seem stacked against them, especially with such a large gap in revenue compared to the previous year. It looks like they're betting their future on their ability to revive their business strategy and prove NASDAQ wrong. The biggest risk here is clearly delisting, which would make their stock much harder to trade and likely significantly reduce its value. It remains to be seen if their appeal will be successful or if they can actually turn things around. Alright, that is our breakdown of Kaival Brands' latest filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.